Good morning, y'all. Sorry about that little delay there. I had misplaced my water and had to go find it. Found it successfully. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is the well, it's 11. Of course, my phone doesn't tell me the date, the 7th of July. Excuse me. And this is our Q&A call. So this is the first time that I've done just a straight up Q&A only call. I swear to God, every time I get on a webinar, something gets in my eye here, making me look even more professional than I usually look. Bear with me for a sec. So literally the purpose of this is just to answer any questions you guys have about building a list. Sorry to be doing this with my eye, dang it. I think I got an eyelash or something. And or B, selling them stuff. And, falling under the category of selling them stuff could be what to say on your landing page, how to structure your offer, in addition to what to say in your emails and sales letters and what sales process to use and all of that kind of stuff. So the entire mission of the next hour is for me to just make myself available to help out my homies. That's it. All right. So I believe Tyler's joining us, which is great. And usually what he do is he takes those questions and I just answer them. So we're able to stay better organized there. Top of the morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Fit and healthy like a show off again. I tell you what, I don't appreciate this at all. And let's see, we have two ways to ask questions. There's chat and then there's the Q&A part. If y'all would do it in the Q&A part instead of the chat, it's easier for us to actually keep up with it. When you do it in the chat, it moves all over the place and we can miss questions, and we don't want to miss your questions because that would suck. We don't want to leave you hanging. So if you could help us that way, that would be fantastic. And I guess we should get, as they say, jiggy with it.
Awesome. Sweet. We'll take these in order. First, we have Debbie Starr. She said, I don't have my webinar done yet, but I have a couple of sales pages for low cost items. Should I point people to these sales pages?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Works well for me. And if you're driving traffic and if you're using a two-step order form, then you're also building a list at the same time. So one of the ways I build a list, in addition to driving people to regular opt-in pages, is I drive people to low ticket sales pages. And before they can order, they enter their name and email address, because I know damn well, it doesn't matter what I'm selling, like 70 to 90% of the people are not going to order, even though they start to order. So it's a good way to actually start building a list as well.
Nice. Awesome. Jonathan says, good morning. 1, stoked to be in the Frank Kern class. 2, will we cover how to do webinars in Evergreen Email Machine?
Nah, we're just going to leave that out. No, dude, we've got that. As a matter of fact, if you go through, and I know it's a long one, but the first lesson, and there's a lot of stuff in the members area, but it was like the first official lesson, I go over the exact webinar that I used to sell this training. And I use that as a template and show you the actual steps to making a sales presentation, whether it's done in webinar format, print, VSL, it doesn't matter. The formula is always the same. So I show you how to do that in the very first one that we did. And check it out, it's real good. We got handouts and the whole 9 yards.
Awesome. That's in week 1. So like when you guys log in, you probably see a few bonuses. You can just go down to week 1 and start from there if you're catching up. Jonathan says, in the ad school part 1, day 1, part 1, I'm trying to see what he's talking about. Frank contacts 16-year-old and asks his parents if it was okay to send the boy some books. If it's possible, could you let me know the titles of the books that you're sent?
Oh yeah, I was talking about my man Ryan the Kid O'Donnell, who is now like 20 something, because that was a million years ago. And I sent him Confessions of an Ad Man by David Ogilvy. I sent him The Wizard of Ads. And I believe the third book was Dan Kennedy's Ultimate Sales Letter book. I think those were the 3. The only thing I'm blanking on is whether or not that third one was the Dan Kennedy book. And he read them, but what helped the guy out was the fact he wrote a damn sales letter every day. And if you do that, you end up getting pretty good at writing sales letters.
Nice, thank you. Eric says, should we create an automation to remove them from the sequence after they click on the link to watch the training?
Depending on what you want to do. So no, not necessarily, unless you want to use a strategy called the double tap, which would then put them in a deadline sequence after they click that link, which we will cover later in the class. So right now, our class, I'm deliberately doing this by design. We're starting with like really, really simple stuff, and then we'll build on everything that we've already done, so it doesn't feel like we're doing anything too complicated. But the end result of a lot of these campaigns is automations where you do that stuff. But by no means do you like have to.
Awesome.
You know.
Thank you. Martin says, and is the Evergreen email machine a good fit for affiliate marketers or more aligned for product owners?
It doesn't matter as long as you have a list of people that want to buy things and you send them offers that are related to what it is that the outcome that they want. I think it's fine for affiliate marketers. The trick is when you're an affiliate, you're only making half the money or less than half the money, and you're spending all of the money to acquire the lead and the customer. So because of that, you just need to be really careful with what you're promoting. Obviously, what you're promoting needs to be good. So we take that as a given. We take that as obvious. But the other side of that equation is the thing you're promoting needs to convert. So you run the risk of, man, I got all these leads. I sent all this traffic to this thing. It didn't sell. The strategy doesn't work. And in reality, the strategy was okay. Everything worked. You got leads. They went to the sales page, but the sales page didn't work. So you always need to be paying very close attention to the numbers in that regard. And it's not a complicated thing to look at. Did I get clicks? Yes. Okay, that's good. Did people buy? No. Okay, it was probably the sales page I was sending them to. Let's try a different offer.
Awesome, thank you for that. And then for people who are joining late, if you want a question answered, go ahead and put it into the Q&A, not into the chat, just so that we don't miss it and we can answer these in order. Charlie says, do you mostly choose lead or conversion ads when you advertise?
I do both. So right now I'm getting a lot of good luck with like the lead form ads, your classic. And I believe that I show this in week 2. I get my weeks confused, but I show you how to do this in week 2, where people aren't even going to a website. They're just filling out the form right there on Facebook or Instagram. We're having great luck with that right now. In fact, the very ads that I set up in this class to demonstrate how to do it have doubled the money. In the first day or 2, I got like a 10x return on the money, but that was kind of a fluke. I've since scaled the ads up and it's still making double the money. And I started that campaign on the 27th of June. So we're now 10 days in and it's working good. So I do it all. Like, you really want to, like, you don't have to do everything, but doing everything, as long as it doesn't cause like this division of focus that messes you up or makes you feel overwhelmed, doing everything is good, because it's just more ways to get more people into the machine.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Frank. Anonymous attendee says, how do you keep your subscribers interested in the first week of drip emails without being too salesy?
I don't care about being too salesy. People are getting on email lists now because they have a problem and they want the solution to that problem. And it's different. The consumer psychology is a lot different than it was, let's say 10 years ago, where like 10 years ago, you'd get an email and you're like, oh my God, an email, and now people get 200 or 300 emails a day. And when friends write email to each other, it's very short, it's very punchy, it's almost like a text message. We're not writing like novels to one another. So when I get someone in that first 7 days, I'm writing typically very short, punchy emails that are just driving them to the solution that they want. Because if you think about why somebody joins an email list, it's going to be one of several things. Number one, they're like on a classic e-com site, they'll enter their name and email address to save 25%. So it's very, very smart to, within the first 7 days, like get them to go ahead and place that order and get that savings and claim that. So that's one way they join a list. Another way they join a list is they're like asking for information on how to accomplish something, such as solving a problem or achieving a goal. And they're not like wanting to accomplish that thing later. they want to accomplish that thing right now. So we want to send them to the offer that will help them get that end result as much and as quickly as we possibly can, because they want it. And the third thing that's really changed about buyer psychology is that buying stuff is now an achievement within our minds, as a culture. I don't mean me and you necessarily. And this is dramatically different than how consumer psychology worked like in 2010 and a little bit before that. It's now it really is consumption equals achievement, even though that's the dumbest thing ever. This is like, yay, I went and I took out, I maxed out my credit card to buy this new pair of shoes. Oh, good for you. Well done. So people want to buy things. So you really can't overdo it, in my opinion, in that first 7 days. You want to get them going to the offer while they're at their most interested stage.
Awesome, thank you for that. Debbie had asked if she should run traffic to low cost sales pages, and she wanted a follow-up question on that. Is it better to have a short video on those pages? I'm assuming she means instead of just straight copy.
So the thing that works best for me, and we give this away, I think it's week 1 or 2, I can't remember, but just like look and you'll see the templates. There's a template that I use. I call it a block copy template. And I actually show you like in that, I think it's week 1, where I'm like, look at all of these different offers of mine. I've had this exact same template, and there's a headline, there's a short video, and then under that video, there are blocks. And within each block is like a paragraph. And it's just a real short description of the thing. And then there's a 2-step order form on it. And it works very, very well. And that has been my go-to sales page layout now for a solid year. It just seems to keep on trucking along, and I'll take that any day.
Awesome, thank you for that. John says, I'm in the life insurance world where most assume the sales cycle is very long, like weeks or months. Can the 7-day sales system work here?
It can, but your transaction occurs not online, but typically over the phone or in office. And generally speaking, that financial services business, the main thing that happens is you get them into some sort of presentation, and then from the presentation, then they set up the appointment to talk about their financial needs, et cetera, and then you make the close. So the 7-day sequence needs to get them into that presentation. That's the most important thing about that. And then from there, now we go with another sequence that's going to try to get them to make the appointment. And then once the appointment's made, now there's a sequence. I'll give you all of this stuff, by the way, in the class. I'm just deliberately not like flooding everybody with everything at one time, because it'll be no fun for you. But then there's a sequence that gets them relatively pre-sold before the appointment. And that works very, very well. We've worked with a lot of finance folks.
Awesome, thank you for that. Javier says, hi Frank, what do you consider to be better, to make a video ad with subtitles or a video without subtitles? This is for Facebook ads, and I don't know if that improves the clicks to the opt-in page.
I've never split tested it, but logic dictates that the subtitles would work better because so many people look at their phones with the sound off. So probably subtitles. Like the one video that I've been running, so I've been running this one video ad for my 4-course thing since June or July of last year. So a straight freaking year of every day running the same ad. And it's got subtitles, and it just keeps working. And it's the most ridiculous thing ever, because I look horrible, like worse than usual in the ad, because I shot it with this camera. I was like trying to be a vlogger for about 20 minutes, and I bought some fancy vlogger camera. Of course, didn't read the instructions because that's stupid. So it made me look purple. And so it's this purple, awful looking dude talking about marketing courses with subtitles, and it still works. So I really wouldn't obsess over like video quality, video production. It's more about the offer and the value that you create in that ad.
Awesome, thank you for that. Linda says, if you're giving away a cheat sheet, is there anything with your funnel and emails you would do differently from doing webinar or products?
I would make the cheat sheet sell. So instead of giving away a downloadable cheat sheet, I would make that cheat sheet in and of itself part of the sales letter. So let's say the cheat sheet is like, here's a 3-step cheat sheet on how to get your dog to stop barking. I would make that the sales letter. So I would give them the information that you would normally give in the cheat sheet, but then I would include the pitch and everything. So when they opt in, they're immediately seeing the offer. We always want to get the offer in front of people as fast and as frequently as possible. And if you go to week one, I give you the entire framework of how to make an educational pitch like that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Gregory says, should we structure any landing page according to your course model, benefits, story, value, price, etc.? I've compared one of your sales pages to what you recommend, and there's sometimes differences. Do we always have to structure the landing page in the same way?
Well, I'm going to consider a sales page and a landing page two different things. So a landing page is going to be like that opt-in page, and the one that collects the email address, like to get a registrant or whatever. And I like to make those extremely simple, where it is a headline, maybe a subhead, and then the button they can press where the thing pops up and it gets their email address. The sales page, I'm sure you'll find some of mine that don't follow that. But if you look over the past couple of years, like again, like go to week number one, I actually show you like, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. It all follows that block copy thing that I shared with you. And where I will deviate sometimes from the formula is sometimes I don't do really heavy risk reversal. And the reason I don't do that is because I don't want a bunch of tire kickers coming in. I used to do stuff like, hey, if you don't like it, just let me know. You can keep everything for free anyway. And I would just end up getting hosed, and it would piss me off because I'm like, I know you're stealing from me. So now I don't go that heavy in the risk reversal. But generally speaking, it's all there. You know, like look at the Kern Book Bundle or franksnewoffer.com. They both follow that block copy framework. Socialsalesformula.com follows that block copy framework. That one, actually, I think that one is just a video with the little buy link on there because the real purpose of that one's to get the lead. But if you get on the follow-up sequence, you'll see it's the same framework.
Cool. Thank you for that. Kurt says, if I've not been regularly communicating with my list, do you have a rewarming campaign versus just an offer?
Yeah, so you can send them really any content. It doesn't have to be your own, but I would email them every day for a week and make an offer if you want to. You know, it's really just like whether or not you're comfortable doing it. Like personally, I would. Who cares? You know, what are they going to do? Freak out? Oh my God, this person made me an offer. But either send them an offer every day for a week or send them literally any content. It could be a YouTube video. So like, let's say your list is into cooking. And you're like, dude, I found the really great recipe from Anthony Bourdain making tomato pasta. It's so cool. It's on YouTube. You can check it out here. And all you're really trying to do during that 7 days is get the people segmented who opened and clicked, because those are now your engaged people on your list. And now you can email them all the time because you know they're engaged. The ones who didn't, I would email them like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. And the ones who then open and click from that batch, now they're in your engaged pile.
Awesome.
And the only way I would change that advice is if your list is like 1 million people or something. Like you don't want to be mailing 1 million people every day if they're cold, you know what I mean? But if the list is like 20,000 people or something like that, that's what I would do. It's highly unlikely anything bad's going to happen. You might get someone going, unsubscribe me, blah, blah, blah. But you're just like, okay, here you go, bye, you know.
Makes sense. Kathleen says, I'm using your order format for the main page of my funnel, but the upsell isn't converting. How do you create a big promise on an upsell?
Same way you would create a big promise on anything. So it's like whatever the main benefit is, like here's how to achieve this main benefit, you know. But one thing I would caution you against is prematurely making the assumption that the upsell is not converting. So remember, you need to present that offer to a couple hundred people before you can really get any statistical relevance. So if only like 10 or 15 people have seen it and no one's bought it yet, I wouldn't write it off, because the next 20 people, you might get 3 sales. You never know, you know.
Good point. Gregory says, is a streamlined checkout better than a two-way sign up? Thinkific, which I use as well, recommends the streamlined version since it increases conversions allegedly.
I think what they mean is the actual page where you input the credit card information. So probably that one's okay to use, but I would always get their name and email address first. So, you know, they click on order, they go to a page, you say, create your account. Where do you want me to send the info? Or step 1, name, email address. Then they hit submit. Then you can send them to that streamlined thing. That's fine, but you definitely want to get the cart abandoners, because it doesn't matter how cool the order form is, between 70 and 90% of the people who see it, maybe even more, are not going to order. It's just the way it is. It doesn't matter what you're selling. That's just like direct response gospel. So those people who start to order and leave, those are the best prospects you could possibly have.
Awesome. Thank you. Ty Hicks says, I'm just getting started in the program, but I'm wondering what I should do to optimize my existing marketing resources for list building. I have an Instagram, Facebook group, and LinkedIn account. Should I have a core quote link in bio that I drive people back to on each platform to build the list? And if so, what should my core lead magnet be?
I would make that lead magnet an educational offer. So it depends on what the niche is, but let's say the niche is like race car driving and you're selling a race car driving course. You know, the thing they're opting in for is either a free video that shows you how to be a better race car driver, or a free report that shows you how to be a better race car driver. If it's a video, it's a video sales letter that follows a framework I give you in week 1. Sorry for the plane overhead. If you can hear it, it follows the framework I give you in week 1 that makes the big promise, proves a point, educates, and then sells. If it's a sales letter, it's the same thing. It's just in written format. And I would make every post, I would get a domain that's really easy to remember, like freeracingvideo.com or something like that, right? That probably already exists, but you know what I mean? And then every post would direct people there. So you'd be talking about race car driving and stuff. You'd be like, by the way, if you want a free video that shows you how to be a better race car driver, go to freeracingvideo.com. I think you'll love it. And that works exceptionally well. And if you watch week 2, pretty sure it's week 2, I actually show you how I discovered this. I mean, me saying I discovered this is like saying I discovered oxygen, you know, but how I figured it out in 2018 and started doing it. And I actually went through the posts that I started making in 2018 that did this very thing, that just like got an easy to remember domain name. It was just always driving people back to the easy to remember domain name. And I tracked all the revenue from it. It was $53,000. So I walk you through that and show you all the posts and everything in that second week's content if you want to check it out.
Awesome. Thank you. Kenley says, hi, Uncle Frank. I just joined literally a minute ago, so I haven't had a chance to go through the info on this course yet, although I do have a question. I sell a high ticket item, a remote work job board with a $20,000 setup fee. How do you recommend selling my job board solution to small businesses and community owners?
Well, the first thing I would recommend is whatever sales process you're using now, keep using it. Just get people on a list so you can put them from the list into that sales process. So if your sales process is they express interest and you call them and then talk to them about it, you just want to get more people expressing interest by opting in for information on how to do job board stuff. And then you call them. If your sales process involves a webinar that leads to a phone call or whatever, I'm relatively certain that they don't just order the $20,000 thing online. They got to talk to somebody. But if you're pulling it off without any human interaction, then good for you. That's amazing. But all you do is you just put more people into that sales process by list building. So you get them on the list and then you make sure they go through that process.
Awesome. Thank you. We're flying through this. Awesome. Tyler says, is it possible to build an evergreen funnel without the countdown timer thingy, still using urgency or scarcity?
Countdown timer thingy makes everything work better. So yes, it's possible, but it's hard to really have it be true urgency and scarcity if it doesn't expire. And it's not hard to set up. Like, it depends on what tools you're using. Deadline funnel is my favorite one to use. It's pretty easy. It works really well. Like, I don't know what the heck they're doing, man, but you cannot hack that damn thing. Like, probably somebody can, some Ukrainian genius or whatever could figure it out, but you get in one of those deadline funnels and it expires, you are not getting back to the damn sales page. It's pretty badass.
Awesome. This one's going to be a mouthful. Neri says, I'm a YouTube consultant and a business strategist. I help YouTubers monetize their content / videos doing what they love. I find the gaps, analyze the data where they lost potential sales or growth of their channels and views. Then I provide them the issue and fixes for the issues. It's a lot more into the process. I'd like to set up an automatic survey to weed out the non-qualified from the qualified clients. I don't like closing people on the phone unless it's like Frank's of just taking the order. Of course, Frank is Frank. Here's what I need your help on. I need to create a lead magnet. I know what it is, but I'm having challenge what to provide them as a lead magnet in exchange for their emails.
So your funnel sounds like a classic high ticket funnel. And a classic high ticket funnel is they opt in to see some sort of presentation. The presentation sells them on booking a phone call with you. And typically that booking process involves them answering some qualifying questions. And if they answer the qualifying questions incorrectly, you just don't hold the appointment. And we used one of those for years and it works great. And it's like the standard funnel for anybody selling anything high ticket. And the thing that you're, at least for me, like the first thing that comes to mind is free on-demand training or live webinar or whatever you want to call it reveals how to monetize your YouTube channel in 3 easy steps. Register here, and that's it. So you teach them some good ideas on how to monetize their channel, and you show them all the opportunity that's out there, et cetera. You give them the case studies, basically follow the framework that I gave you in week number 1. And then your pitch is to sell them on applying for the call. And naturally, they're not all going to apply for the call. So now there's an email sequence called a go apply sequence. And then there's one that's a make sure you show up sequence. And we'll give you all of those when it's time to do it. But that's your funnel. Works pretty good.
Awesome, thank you. Sheldon says, when first building a list and educating the pixel, do you prefer using a lead magnet or when do you decide using a low ticket product?
I would start with a lead magnet unless you already have a converting sales letter for a low ticket product. So, sending strangers to any product that just makes the sale right there, right there on the page is hard. So unless you've got one of those already, I would start with the lead magnet and I would make the thing that you're giving away follow that framework I give in week 1, which is to educate and prove and pitch and reassure and all of that kind of stuff. And whether you're doing that in print or in video, it doesn't matter. But what I wouldn't do is like obsess over making a beautiful PDF brochure or something that doesn't actually sell anything and then start sending them emails to try to get them to buy from a different thing later. We've tested that. It's extremely difficult. You want to make the thing they're opting into do the selling for you.
Awesome, thank you. Aaron says, I'm a software developer who's learning marketing. Is there software you wish existed but does not yet?
Yeah, I wish that ClickFunnels or a version thereof had built-in timers so I didn't have to also use deadline funnels. It drives me crazy. So like there's 2 separate things, like ClickFunnels timers aren't really that cool. Like they're kind of cool, but they're not as versatile as deadline funnels. So I would love it if like ClickFunnels, Kartra does this because I helped Kartra build it. I didn't code it. I architected everything out for them, but like you can click on 4-day cash machine within Kartra and it sets up all the emails for you and all the landing page templates and the timers are already there. I wish that ClickFunnels had that. And the reason I'm saying I wish ClickFunnels had that is because it's easier to use. ClickFunnels is easier to use. So I wish that thing existed. That'd be awesome.
Awesome, thank you. Steven says, hey, I have a Keep account and I have a Zapier account. I don't know if I need a business email too because I don't want emails being sent out from Hotmail or Gmail. I'm with ClickFunnels and they recommend Zoho for a business email account. Do I need a business email or does Keep/Zapier do this?
No, dude, you just need a you@yourdomain.com. So like whatever your site is, it's just your name at yoursite.com. That's a business email account. That's what they mean.
Yeah. Deadline funnel is a bit pricey, says Gregory. Do you always recommend it as an investment that pays off? I already work with timers on my Divi website, hence the question.
If whatever you're doing is already working, then keep doing it. And if there's a cheaper deadline funnels thingy out there, and like put it in the comments or something. I've just used deadline funnels forever. They don't pay me to endorse them or anything like that. I have met the programmer, super nice guy, or the owner, super nice dude. So if there's a better timer thingy out there that's cheaper, hey man, have at it. My gripe with the ClickFunnels timers is that you can't do as much cool stuff as you can with deadline funnels. So like if you can set a date specific timer in ClickFunnels, but if you set like an hour countdown And your only options are they stay on the page for the entire hour and then it expires, or if they go back to the page, even though it hadn't been an hour yet, it'll expire or it'll reset the timer. So it doesn't really have like that true functionality that I like to see there. And so I don't like that. There might be a cool timer functionality in Thrive Themes, which is a WordPress page builder. I'm not quite sure. I think I read that somewhere. We might have bought it, but WordPress, everything is hard for me to figure out. It's just, not good at it. So I'm sure there's other alternatives out there if you look hard enough.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Alex says, how would you generate leads for home improvement and remodeling? I'm trying the lead ad and it does not work very well, about $35 per lead.
That is a function probably of the copy and or the image. And the reason I know this is because we had a private client who grew his father's home remodeling company during COVID, by the way, to the best year they ever had by using Facebook lead format. And it was a little book, and it was like a physical thing. And it was like the 8 things you need to know before you remodel your home or kitchen or whatever. I forgot what it was. And their whole sales process was extremely basic. Someone would fill out the lead form and then they would call them and they would be like, hey, you just requested this book. Where do you want us to send it? Like physically send it in the mail. And they would say, well, please send it to, 123 Main Street or whatever. And then they would go, cool, when are you thinking about remodeling your house? And if they answered correctly, they'd be like, all right, you want us to come out and give you an estimate and take a look? And some of them would say yes. And bottom line, it literally resulted in over $1 million of contracts for them from like a $7,500 ad spend. Your cost per lead is a little bit high. I don't care for it. It's likely a copy or image or title issue.
You're almost perfectly pacing the question per minute. Martin says, I have lead funnel under get customers on autopilot.com for a book at $5.90. Facebook course order pump for $37, video course upsell for $297, video course downsell for 3 times $99, and a copy of my funnel template downsell for 2 payments of $47. I implemented the abandoned cart sequence for the second step order form, step 1 follow-up. Sorry, I'm reading that verbatim. Question, where should I send the 7-day email sequence in regards to all the products that I have in the funnel?
Back to the main sales page. So what'll make that thing work better is if you tell them that it's $5 and you put a timer on it and you tell them it's $5.90 until the page expires. And then if they abandon the cart, let's say it's a 5-hour deadline. That's what I do for my 4-course bundle, by the way. If they start to check out and they leave, you put them in a deadline sequence, that's an abandoned cart sequence, that's driving them back to make that purchase. That gives us a 10% lift in sales by doing that. We actually covered that yesterday when we did the training. Was it yesterday? I think it was. I get my days confused. But whenever we did the training, I pulled up the stats. I was like, I'll be damned. It's a 10% increase in sales from doing that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Naima says, what would you say is the minimum average cart value for making this work? Which is really general, but
yeah, I don't know, because it all depends on how much you're paying per lead. I mean, some people get leads for 10 cents, and good Lord, you can get away with a $5 cart value if you're getting leads for 10 cents. It depends on, there's so many factors. It's really impossible for me to answer with any actual certainty other than guessing. I don't really want to guess because it's just guessing. I don't think it's of any value to you.
All good. Ty says, more important question I have, what are the metrics or analytics I should set myself up to measure before I get these emails set up so I know if they're actually working or not? I think he's talking about click-through rates, open rates, any of that stuff that you might pay attention to.
Well, you're never going to know any of that stuff until you get the emails set up and send them. So like, set the dang emails up and let them go out. Dude, I don't know. We get pretty good. Hell, let's see, actually. Let me see if I can do this. without showing any sensitive data. All right, hang on. I'm not sharing my screen yet, I don't think. We pull
No.
up the ClickFunnels, not the ClickFunnels, the Infusionsoft. I'll tell you real quick what we're getting for our abandoned cart sequence. It's going to take a minute before I can share the screen. Wow, selling a lot of stuff today about that. All right, campaign builder over here. Waiting 2,000 years for the thing to load. Okay, so let's see if that's it. All righty. Almost ready to share, y'all. Give me just a second. Reporting. Let's do last 30 days. So we have a little bit more data in this sucker. And I'll share it in a minute when I know with a relative degree of certainty that I will not be sharing people's email addresses. Okay, so now let me go and share this thing. If I can find Zoom, that would be helpful. I'm great at losing my Zoom controllers, y'all. So if anyone wants to learn how to not use Zoom well, I'm awesome at it. Okay, share screen. There we go. And desktop number 1. Okay, so what you're looking at right here, let me get me off there. This is our abandoned cart sequence for the 4-course bundle. And this is over the past 30 days. I turned the ads off for it for a while. I forgot why I did that, but now they're like crushing and I'm stoked. But as you can see, what is this? 49% opens, 43, 46, 40, and 43. And these are our click rates here. This is interesting. Email number 4, terrible click rate. Wonder why. I have no idea what email number 4 says. I've already forgotten. But these are all pretty good. So this works for me. You know, this little thing right here, this gets us a 10% increase in sales. I did the stats on it when I just taught the cart abandon sequence on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday when I taught it. And yeah, so I don't know like how that would compare. So I'm not saying like, hey, you need to be, your metrics need to be like this good or whatever. I'm just showing you, here's mine. So I like them okay. You know, I don't really look at this stuff too much unless something's not working. And then I'm like, all right, what's not working? And it's either going to be they're not opening, they're not clicking, or they're clicking and they're not buying. And that's pretty simple to figure out. But it's only when something's not working that I pay attention to that. All right, let me unshare here.
Thank you for that. Rob says, are all these Q&As being recorded and made available in the course modules? Yes, this is the first Q&A we're doing, but all the call recordings are actually each week in your actual course and they're up to date. So this one will come up like 10 minutes after our call.
Yeah, I just switched the delivery. So I would teach the whole lesson and then do Q&A in the same time period. And I was like, I bet people don't want to have to listen to me ramble on and then try to ask the question based on information they just freshly are trying to digest. So we switched the format here to give a longer and more alert Q&A session. And so far, so good. I think I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely. Mark says, is there a minimum price point for a first offer to scale effectively at break even? E.g., would a tripwire for a $7 offer work, or would there be a need to run a higher price offer or OTO?
You would need bumps and one-click upsells, like almost certainly. The simplest one that I had, and I'll turn this back on if I ever write the 3rd version of the book. The only reason I don't advertise it anymore is because it's outdated. But the Convert 2.0 book funnel was $5.60 book, and the reason I charge that is because that's how much it actually costs to ship a book, and I quit shipping them, but the price works. I was like, hell with it, I'll keep the price, you know. And then there was a $27 order bump on there, and then there was a $297 one-click upsell, and then there was one for 2 payments of $97, which was Video Black Box, and then like way later I added a $1,000 one-click upsell to see if that would work, and of course hardly anybody ever took it, but when they did, it was cool. But that worked great. My 4-course bundle thing's got like 8 billion different upsells in there. It's extremely complicated, and it doesn't really perform any better than the simple version. I just don't feel like redoing it. So, you know, a thing the main thing, order bump plus 2 upsells probably would have you doing pretty good.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Charles wants to know if we already covered how to boost or run ads to his organic posts.
We have not, no.
Awesome. Voslin says, could Frank either turn up his volume a little or move his mic closer? I hear the volume. You're leaning in now. It's actually a bit louder than it was before.
Okay, how's this?
Yeah. So you think either I'm too loud or you're too quiet.
I
Sorry.
wonder, dude, if I'm in the wrong, let's see, maybe it's using my wrong mic.
That sounds like
It's
coming
using my
from-
claret. Yeah, okay.
All right, cool. Kurt says, if I have not been regularly, oh, you already asked that, Kurt. Rich said, I'm in higher education. How do we offer a quote test drive of a course or product to protect against plagiarism / copyright infringement?
I got confused by that.
He
Let's try it
says-
one more time.
Yeah, he's in higher education. He wants to use a test drive of the courses and products, obviously to build the list, but he wants to protect against plagiarism and copyright infringement.
Oh, dude, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, just never think about it again and assume that it's going to get plagiarized and ripped off and stop worrying about it immediately. Gosh, man, we spent so much time and energy and money trying to stop that stuff. Number one, it had no effect on the business at all. It's not like there are all kinds of people going, I can get this stuff for free off a pirate site with a whole bunch of viruses. I'm going to roll the dice, and we didn't see any increase or decrease in business from when we were fighting piracy to when we said to hell with it. There was nothing happened. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Nice. Robin says, when you make posts on Facebook, you teach to put up 3 per day. How do you time the release of these posts? All at once or an hour or 2 apart?
At will. Yeah, I don't give any thought to it. And I really should follow my own advice. I rarely do 3 a day because I'm horrible at Facebook. But if you do the 3 a day, that's a very, very good system. And when I do it, I make more money. And when I don't, shockingly, I make less money. And it's usually like just whenever I feel like doing it. And the thing about social posts, organic social posts, is there's no rhyme or reason to these damn things. Like sometimes they'll show it to a crap ton of people and you're like, this is great. I'm winning social media. And then the very next one, they'll show it to like 17 people. And you're like, what the hell was this? And I've tried to like analyze it. Like, okay, is it photographs with people in them that do better? Is it video? Is it not? For the life of me, I have no idea what causes that to happen. What I do know is if you just do it consistently, then you're going to have some good days, you're going to have some bad days, and they're all going to average out to being pretty good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kathleen says, my upsell and a weight loss challenge isn't converting. Should I do a VSL and how do I restate the big promise?
Yeah, you should do a VSL. Those typically convert better in one-click upsells and then make the buy button delayed. So they have to watch the VSL before they can actually buy. And the big promise is whatever the big promise is. So I mean, I don't know what the offer is, but if it's here's how you can lose weight even faster, then that's the big promise. If it's here's how you can lose weight while eating ice cream all the time, and that's the big promise. I mean, obviously, you want to be very compliant with advertising claims and things like that. I'm taking that as a given, so I'm using these examples kind of with that, with that said. But the big promise is quite simply the big promise. Like, here's how to do the thing you want to do. And a one-click upsell is usually going to be faster and easier, or solving a problem that the purchase creates. And it's very important that I clarify what this means. So it doesn't mean, and this is solving the problem that the purchase creates, by the way. What this doesn't mean is you bought this water, but in reality, this water sucks without the straw. Like, that's not what I mean. Instead, it's the only example I can give you is from one of my own pitches, which is, okay, you bought this book. It's going to show you how to get consulting clients. One of the things that you're going to realize is it's that not everybody who becomes a lead is going to want to have a consult with you. Therefore, you're going to want to follow up with them and make offers to have consultations with you. The challenge with that is if you make it the exact same way every time, you're going to bore them. And then the thing that I sold was how to make the same pitch from 13 different angles. So it was, the problem created by the book was actually a good problem. You're going to have all these leads. The thing the upsell was fixing is how do you follow up with these leads in a way that's not boring? So that's what I just really want to clarify that, so no one goes out and, not that anyone would, but you know what I mean. It's easy to take this stuff out of context. So those are your two things typically that one-click upsells do. It's like more of the same, faster and easier, or solving the problem that the purchase created.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Sheldon says, we have multiple free and low ticket front ends leading to our continuity/membership program at $27 a month and an upsell to get higher ticket coaching program. We're a little confused as to how to structure the sequences. The 7-day sequence for each lead magnet/low ticket plus puts them into the main list and is how we are currently structured. Or will we get into the segmenting and structuring of multiple lists and multiple upsells later?
Yeah, we'll get into segmentation later, but you're doing it right for now. Like you want to get them all in, and you want to get them all going to whichever one of your, offers work best to your list. Like put that one at the very front, get that one going for 7 days. And then what you're going to want to do is create a bunch of different bribe to join offers for your $27 thing. And then you're going to want to segment people for your higher ticket thing. And you're also probably going to discover that they don't actually have to buy lower ticket or the $27 thing to be buyers for the higher ticket thing. So you can go straight to higher ticket thing with part of your list as well. So you'll likely be happy about that.
Cool, thank you. Tyler wants to know if it's okay to be short and punchy in the emails for an e-commerce brand.
Yes.
Awesome. And then, second part of that is he wants to know if in the abandoned cart email sequences, he should not include any images, branding, logos, social icons, etc.
Well, for e-com, I would. Yeah, because they're looking at a thing, and the e-com software like Shopify and all that stuff can like integrate with Klaviyo or whatever thing you want to use, Drip. There's certain CRMs that are really good for e-com and actually show the image of the thing that the buyer abandoned the cart for. So yeah, I would include that for sure.
Awesome. Mark wants to know if we can get the slides for week 2 and week 3.
Should be up already.
Yeah, I included the attachments that you sent over to me, so I'm not sure if we're missing anything, but I'll double check that for you. Jose says, when you have a DIY, DFY, and DWY offer all targeted the same audience and same solution, what's your Facebook to lead strategy? Each offer within its own Facebook ad and follow-up email sequence, or Facebook ads to one main funnel and different offers pre-programmed to list on the follow-up sequences? Any suggestions would be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of, to translate that into plain English, dude's got 3 different offers. One is like, learn how to do a thing yourself. The other one is, we will do this with you. And the other offer is, we will do this for you. So it's kind of an ascension model, really. So the answer is whether or not you can handle the division of focus of managing 3 different campaigns that are bringing people into 3 different offers. It's not that big of a deal. Personally, I'm not that great at it. So if it were me doing it, I would bring everybody into something that is like, here's how to solve the big problem. So let's say it's Facebook ads or something. Here's how to make your Facebook ads work finally. And then your emails are going to do the segmentation, like, hey, watch this video on how to do this yourself. Or if you want to work with us, go watch this presentation, or here's a webinar, and et cetera. And then it's going to pitch the done for you. And I'd let the email do the rest. So now your front facing thing is always driving people to the same funnel all the time. Just makes life easier.
Awesome. Thank you. Constantina said, are the email automation campaigns the same with Rainmaker ones, or are there more campaign templates and evergreen email that you can share with us?
I'm building more for you now, but I'm not going to tell you what they are, because I've got more cool stuff that I've been playing with that's working.
Nice. Ali says, okay, we have a few questions in here. I want to promote an affiliate program. That price is $7 and they give $1.80 commissions, but they will offer high ticket later, which pays $1,000 per high ticket. So in this case, what would my cost per lead be? My ideal cost per lead be?
I wouldn't do it. There's way too many variables involved in whether or not that's going to work for you. Hang on. Let's think about the math, okay? Let's say your cost per lead was $1. It's possible, I don't know, but let's just say you get 100 leads. All right, so let's say you get 100 people. And if we go based on the numbers that I just showed y'all with my own stats for the cart abandon, we're going to send out our 7-day sequence. Half of them are going to open and like 10% of them are going to click, which means you're going to get 10 clicks to the $7 offer. And if you get one sale of that $7 offer, it means that offer converts at 10%, which is likely not how high that offer converts. And now we're going to have this variable of, is the buyer going to book the appointment with the high ticket salesperson? Are they going to show up? Are they going to be qualified? Is the high ticket salesperson going to be able to actually sell them? So in my mind, there's way too many variables there where things can break that are beyond your control. I would rather find, affiliate programs that serve the same market where it's a lot fewer moving parts that are fluid, because people are very unpredictable. And that high ticket thing is where you're going to make all the money in that particular program. And it all depends on whether the salesperson is going to be able to do the job. And that's like, it's rolling dice. You know what I mean? So I think you'd probably make more money if you found something that was $100 and paid $50 as affiliate commission, and you promoted that. And then you found like 10 other things like that. You just constantly were rolling out different stuff.
Awesome. Your other questions were in regards to like click-through rates and open rates on emails. So Frank answered that earlier in the call, but if you need more clarity, you can just put it in the Q&A. Gregory says, if we send a segmented email campaign after discovering how our existing lists behave through clicks and sorting campaigns, are they less willing to buy? Is the 7-day sequence not working here?
No, what you're doing is you're doing your 7-day sequence. And first of all, half of the damn people that get the 7-day sequence aren't even going to open, so we need to understand that. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you're giving away gold bullion. It's human nature. It doesn't matter. So one has no bearing on the other. The reason we're segmenting and sorting and sending a gazillion emails is because attention is so fragmented now that we have to do as much as we can to get that attention and then get the purchase, which is why I keep saying the game has changed. Like, it's okay to send a lot of email now. You have to, in order to stay in front of them, because they're getting a gazillion emails from everybody else. So you want to do that. On the screenshots on the webinar, like when I show all those emails from Vuori and stuff, I buy stuff from Vuori every month. But if you were to look at those screenshots, you'd see that like the majority of the emails that they send every day are unread by me. But it doesn't take one email to get read and clicked on to facilitate a transaction. So you want to be doing it a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Carlos says, when selling a free consultation on phone or office visit for service business, tax debt resolution, do we just continue emailing them until they book the appointment? Most people request my book, but don't book his lead magnet, but don't book right away. They procrastinate until the IRS takes their money. Do you recommend daily, weekly emails or set up automated email flows forever until they book an appointment?
Yeah, I recommend all of that stuff and a content call me sequence, which we'll provide in the course as we progress. Again, there's a whole lot of stuff that's coming. I just don't want to give it all to everybody at once, because after teaching this stuff for so long, I know that's an almost guaranteed way to make people feel overwhelmed and behind and freak them out. But a content call me sequence is a segmentation technique that you can use.
Awesome. Thank you. Julio says, I got 400 subscriptions from lead gen ads. Opt-in is for a free ebook on keto recipes. I send them to offers to affiliated custom keto plans via email. I get about 2 to 5% clicks, but no sales. I'm confused if these are low quality leads due to them coming in from a free ebook?
No, it's math. So if it's 400 leads and you're getting two, well, let's say it's 5% clicks, that's 20 clicks. So to not get sales after 20 clicks is normal.
Awesome.
Yeah, more emails is what you need to be doing. Like send a lot more emails, and ideally, and a lot of affiliates, like super affiliates, do this. Instead of sending them the PDF about keto recipes, you're going to direct them to a web page that has the same information as the PDF, but all throughout that web page are going to be links to the thing you're selling as an affiliate. So if you go and just start surfing around on like CNN and BuzzFeed and all of that kind of stuff, you'll see all sorts of ads that point to basically what are advertorials, which are affiliate marketers selling a thing by driving people to what is essentially a free report about the thing they're selling. And it works exceptionally well. People make a lot of money doing it. It's a tough game because the margins are thin and they're making really big media buys, but that's how they do it. One of them that worked extremely well a year ago was some little gizmo that was like a AC unit that was this big that you put water in or something, and it was supposed to cool down your room. But people made a fortune by driving traffic to a free report about how to lower your AC costs. And it was all about this one thing. And then they would click the link, and that link would take them to the affiliate page that sold the AC unit. So it was like a pre-sale thing. And that'll help your uptake a lot.
Awesome, thank you. Gregory says, I realized today after tweaking my emails that short and friendly emails feel completely different. In my honest opinion, way better to be read. I felt like reading one of Frank's emails are always friendly and nice. Is this the kind of email we're supposed to focus on?
Yeah, there's a time when you don't, by the way, like in a deadline sequence and things like that, when we're value stacking and bonus stacking. But generally speaking, short and punchy is not like, I don't want to write long copy, let's just get away with the least amount of work we can. It's because we're matching the media to the messaging, and so this, by the way, this philosophy goes all the way back to Mass Control, which I taught, I think, in 2008, which is you always want to talk to people in a language pattern that matches whatever the primary language pattern is being used on the media they're consuming it. So if we're writing something on a blog, it's not going to be punchy. It's going to have a lot of content. It's going to have a lot of newsworthy type stuff. If we're writing an email nowadays, it's going to be very short and punchy because that's how email is between friends. So always, always, always match the media, match the messaging to the style of media that they're consuming it in, and you'll do real good.
Awesome. Ali wants to know if you'll cover the 3 reasons people opt in again.
Well, they opt in because they're either A, like wanting a discount code or something from an e-com site, right? So it's a bribe type of thing, or they're starting to order, but they leave. That's called a cart abandonment, or they're opting in to get some information. And typically the information is about how to solve a problem or how to get what they want, which is basically also how to solve a problem.
Very cool. Thank you. Dylan says, I have a software product. It's $79 a year. Is it just better to put this as a low ticket, $8 a month, or should I keep it at annual?
If it's selling well at annual, I would keep it at annual.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Matthew wants to know, what's the best way to sell a membership site, or any tips for the membership sites?
Bribe to join has always worked best for us. So it's like, hey, get this bottle of water free when you join the Water of the Month Club or something like that. It has always been our go-to continuity joining system. And basically what you do is you get a bunch of leads that like water in this case. And then we have a whole lot of campaigns that we string together with different bribes that are just we're giving the free thing, next one will be a free cup. I mean, there's a really dumb example, Water of the Month Club, but now you can get this free cup when you join the Water of the Month Club. We built, I want to say Inner Circle got to around $500,000 a month. It was when we did a physically shipped newsletter and stuff. I got tired of doing it, which is why we don't have it anymore. And that was our primary way of selling it, was bribe to join. And so I think we had 8 of those strung together in an automated segmented system.
Awesome, thank you. Water of the Month Club is not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so funny.
Watch
What if
that.
it worked? You know,
Right.
it's so great.
Gil says, how long / number of days should I give for the Facebook ads to show results from leads at the $5 per day level? I get 2 leads in 7 days. I'm looking for a call, not a sale, because my sales are high ticket, but they don't know it's high ticket when they actually submit the lead ad.
So I gotta unpack a lot of that.
He's going for a call. He's using a lead ad with a lead
Yeah.
magnet, and he's spending $5 a day wanting to know how long he has to test for before he knows if stuff's working or not.
Well, you got to, number one, decide how much you're willing to spend per lead. And then number two, you got to get enough leads so you can reasonably expect to get some calls. And that's probably going to be a couple hundred leads, you know, just based on math and numbers. So if you're willing to spend $5 per lead, let's say, I would turn the audience off if you spend $10 and you haven't gotten any leads. And so that's how I would turn that off. And then you're going to want to see like what happens after that.
Awesome, thank you. Gregory says about sales automation, should we set the send trigger to quote, if opens recent email or quote sent recent email? I sometimes got the feedback that our members open up their email a few days later and get an overload in turn from us. So the thing what he means is the trigger for the next email in this sequence is based on like the wait timer is set waiting until they open the email to send the next one. And he wants to know if that's the better way to do it. Otherwise, just like a 1 day wait.
It depends on what you're doing. So the only time when I use like an open as a trigger is going to be in I call it a 1 day cash machine, which is I'll send an email out that might say something like, open this if you want help with your Facebook ads. And then the email is going to be really short. Hey, go watch this video I made you about Facebook ads or whatever. And that video is going to be a pitch. If they open it, they have behaviorally indicated that they are interested in and want help with Facebook ads. And I will now put them immediately in a deadline funnel to sell them on Facebook ad help or whatever it may be. And so that's typically how we use that open trigger. I don't use it in any other capacity besides that.
Awesome. Bridge says, I just enrolled and I'm watching the sales letter video. Am I in the right place? I have not gotten to email list building yet.
Yeah, you're not supposed to, because we don't want to build the list until we can sell the list stuff. You know, otherwise we're going to get a bunch of lists and they're not going to buy anything and no one's going to be happy. So in week number 2 is when we start talking about list building, and that's by design.
Awesome. John says, what's your stance on using the quiz as a lead magnet? Are they generally lower quality leads?
Never tested it, so I don't know. I don't really think that stuff like that is going to lead to higher or lower quality leads. I think the title and topic of a lead magnet will determine that. So if you're selling high ticket business to business stuff and your lead magnet is how to make your first $100 online, that's going to get a low quality lead in terms of being financially qualified to be able to spend a lot of money with you, because logic would dictate they've never made $100 online before, right? So that type of thing, in my opinion, is going to have a much higher effect on lead quality than whether or not it's a quiz funnel. The other thing to be aware of is country targeting. And so we spoke about this when I showed you how to do those lead forms, but typically underdeveloped countries, they don't buy a lot of stuff, but they love opting in for things. So when we're running lead gen campaigns, we typically just target like America, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and Western European countries. And we leave out underdeveloped countries, not because we don't like those folks, but because we've got the data to show that, number one, they opt in like crazy. So Facebook will spend all of our budget like in the Guatemala or something, but they don't buy anything, right? So that type of thing is going to determine lead quality a lot more than a quiz funnel would.
Awesome, thank you. Do you need a water break or anything?
Yeah, I'll take a little sip. Sure. How are we looking on time over here? Man, we've been freaking flying down here. Yeah, let's take a couple more and then we'll roll.
All right, perfect. Becky says, hi, Frank. Do you mail to your whole list or just the active contacts?
Just the active contacts regularly, but like every 30 days or so, I'll mail something to everybody as a means to get inactive people reactivated.
Awesome. Petra says, well, Frank, what do you think is the best way to launch a candle business online where people order directly from my site?
Run a bunch of ads for candles and send them to sales pages for the candles. Like I would go and look at what Yankee Candle's doing and whatever the other giant candle retailers are doing, and I would model exactly what their sales process is, and I would buy their stuff, and I would bet $1.50. I'll bet $1.35. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way to $1.50. That's stupid. I'll bet $1.35 that they make their money on repeat purchases by emailing their customer base a lot and going, hey, now we have one in vanilla pumpkin spice latte caramel or something, you know.
Awesome. Colette says, how beneficial is a blog on a website?
To me, it does nothing. Yeah. Now, this doesn't mean it's not beneficial, but in my experience, I don't pay any attention to my personal website. I haven't updated it in years. You know, I don't mess with it. Instead, I use like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube as blogs to get content out there. And the whole purpose of doing that is to bond with the audience and then get them on my list so I can sell them something, which circles back to points I made in the presentations that got you here, which is social media is for bonding, email is for selling. And we really got to get that very, very clear, because years ago it was different. We wanted to build a bond by email, and it was normal and that worked. But now email is so common and people are so inundated with email, and buyer psychology is so much different in terms of purchasing immediately and wanting instant gratification, that we don't want to bond with email as much anymore. We want to bond with those other things and then put them on an email list where we sell a lot.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. We have a couple questions about the campaign. So if you're on like Keep or Kartra or Active Campaign, you just have to use the chat feature and we'll give you instructions. Every one of those have different instructions on how to get the templates, so we can help you there. I think that's it for on Q&A. A lot of these are repeat questions, so we'll have to wait till next Thursday.
Cool. All right, y'all, we'll have this recording up for you a little bit later today. Thanks so much for being in this class. If you're new, the first couple lessons are long. That's because I was like trying to teach this long, big ass lesson and do Q&A in one time. So like if you're in week one, like the dude was like, hey, I'm watching this thing about sales pages. When do we talk about email? I actually give you email templates in that one lesson. It's just like an hour and a half long lesson. Sorry for that. I just thought people would enjoy it more. And I think they did. But now once I started doing it, I'm like, man, I wouldn't want to have to listen to me for a straight hour. I would rather have all this stuff chunked down. So just know that a lot of stuff is in those first couple of lessons, like a lot is in there. And our class is longer than 4 weeks because I don't want to overwhelm everyone by trying to cram everything down in the 4 weeks. So we'll probably do it like 6 or 8 weeks. I'm in no rush. I just don't want y'all to be overwhelmed. I hate feeling overwhelmed, you know, so I would assume most people do as well. That's why we're going to teach you a little bit longer. So you're going to have to be stuck with me for a couple more weeks. All right, homies, y'all have a great day. And I'll talk to you next week. Take it easy.